on, my good people? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Say That Podcast. And y'all know the drill. Don't say this, say that. I want to give a big shout out to everyone who tuned in my last episode with my guy DK, who drove all the way out here from Holyoke just to have an episode. That's dedication right there. If you haven't tuned in, go tune in now. That was episode 101. And we also have episode 100 out now, so go watch that as well. That was a very, very special one. And if you haven't already, please follow myself on Instagram, REPETE617, and the podcast Instagram is say_that_pod. But I like to say for every episode is a special one, but I feel like today's a little extra special because this is my second rap group who's been on the platform. Shout out to PH and Bells, they were here first, but now they were in front of the mural. And I feel like when I got the mural, that was the good restart. You know what I mean? That's like the time to now, like, you know, it doesn't look bland anymore. It was very bland before. You know, I'm sorry, Mike. It just kind of was. I always say it looked like a dentist office waiting room. It kind of did, but we make do. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, with me here today is I'm gonna just introduce them in order as they're sitting near me. Ramon, Chace, and Octave from Mindflex. What is up, gentlemen?
What's happening?
What's happening? How we
you
doing?
For having us.
I'm good.
Cool. I love the merch. I gotta say, like, I'm a big merch guy. Mm-hmm. So when anyone goes hard with merch, I fucking love it. Mm-hmm. And y'all just have been like going out, like the forest fucking merch, like the shirts and shit. All this shit just goes hard. It's like it's hard as fuck. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
A little pause on that, but you know what I mean?
Pause. But no. It's part of the culture. It's part of the culture.
Really?
So, you know,
you gotta put yourself out there.
You
know what I mean? I love it.
We pride ourselves on our visual identity too.
Of
I think
course.
all three of us really are big into the detail shit and making sure
we're gonna
we
get
present
into that
well.
because,
You know,
yes, we're gonna get into that. But definitely. So I gotta know first, and the good people gotta know. How did this trio come to be, and where does the name Mindflex come from?
So, this is definitely a me question.
That's the other thing?
Yeah,
Any of these questions, whoever answers first can answer. I'll direct them to you.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This is Jeopardy.
You're right, you gotta hit it like Family Feud. Exactly. You just gotta hit first. Right, yeah.
All right, new rule. When it's a totally up in the air question, it's whoever hits the table first gets the answer.
Yep.
All right, I like that.
Smarter than a fifth grader.
Any other show with a buzzer? Let's cover them all.
Yes.
Facts.
So Mindflex, man, I want to say the formational year was actually 2017. Wow. And it started purely as a record label. I'd always kind of had this idea that I wanted to do some kind of label thing. I moved up here to go to music school, and I made a group of friends. I was living in basically a 2-floor apartment in Alston where we had a jam space in the basement, and I had a studio in my room. Nice. And I kind of had my people that I was working with, and my boy Chin 1993, who kind of came into the fold, and we were like, let's start a label. And we sat down one night and we came up with a name, and then he's a fire graffiti artist, and he actually hand drew that logo.
Nice.
So that was kind of the start of it, and it was basically just us. We had a band, and the OG crew was actually some people that are still doing shit in the scene right now. Tayshawn Taylor was part of the original lineup. Reggie Hugh, I don't know if you know him at all. He was part of the original lineup. And then it slowly just developed over the years. We were doing different stuff, and then this iteration basically came into being. Ramon and I started working together.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah, we worked
at work. Okay. That's
literally, that's how it became.
Yeah.
And actually, both of them is we met through work. I was working at Urban Outfitters as a manager and a visual merchandiser for a long time. My eye for fashion and things like that. Yeah, that all came from there. And I started working at the Dedham location.
Okay.
And at that time, he had just left to go do another job. And I got there, and everybody at the store was like, yo, you have to meet this kid, Ramon. Like, you would love him. Like, it so sucks that he just left and he's not working here anymore. Like, y'all would be best friends. And lo and behold, like, whatever, like a month or two later, you started working.
Yeah. No, because that was the funniest part is that when I came back, they kept telling me about Chase. Like, yeah, this is white dude. Like, he's mad cool, though. Like, cool as hell, man. Like, you will love him. And I'm like, for sure. Yeah, all right, whatever.
Totally.
Nigga.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, I heard
this
that.
Guy,
yeah, this
totally.
guy. Yeah,
Fuck.
whatever. And then, like, we actually became cool.
He was a cool white dude.
Yeah, he
was
turns out.
It
weren't lying.
lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
We had like one shift together, and it was like that scene out of Step Brothers where it's like 15 minutes in where it was like, do you want to do karate in the garage?
Yeah.
Like, do you want to be
Yeah.
best friends? Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally. But at that time, we weren't really doing music stuff so much. Like, we both did music.
Yeah.
And Ramon, for you, you were in your Young Titty era, doing mostly
man.
like Young Titty is I won't go into that too much, but basically a character that he plays that's comedy.
Yeah, it's
Adjacent.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fuck with that. Come on.
Yeah.
No, it's a fun. Yeah, it's a fun.
And if
Yeah.
you listen to his bars, you know that he always is coming from a place of humor, even when it's serious sometimes. And so there was always that thing, but you weren't really trying to like put it out to the world so much. You were kind of just doing it because you loved it and having fun with it and sending it to your friends and whatever. But
Yeah,
like,
exactly, because I just love rap
yeah,
and hip hop.
yeah,
Stamp it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think at that point, I was kind of just looking for more people to work with, and also being such a talented videographer, I was like desperate to have other people that like knew how to do other things besides me, and like we had an instant synergy in terms of like, oh, we have so much we can help each other with. Like,
No, facts, yeah.
you needed engineering so badly. Like this motherfucker's mixes.
Yeah,
were
no,
the worst.
I was
And
not
I was like,
mixing at all.
Yeah, well, you did. I mean, you didn't know about it, and I was okay with video, but like I
No,
couldn't
like-
do any of the shit you were doing. It
Like
was-
I heard about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard about mixing vaguely, but like I was like, nah, I'm not about to do that.
Nah.
shit.
No, right. Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's
just
like
straight raw vocals on the mic. That's
no,
it.
of course.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
with like my mom suggested to me. She's like, "Why don't you get into producing?" And I'm like, "No," because if I did get into producing, it would have been when I was like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't mean to be like, oh, you could start whenever. I just feel that stuff you kind of got to learn early because of how competitive the game is. Yeah. And especially like in Massachusetts, like obviously, you're not competing with one person, but through the outside eye, everyone's, they're going to pick their favorites.
Right.
But it's just cool how like you all were like, do you need mixing? It's like, okay, let's get some vocals in there. It's
Yeah.
a good synergy.
Yeah.
And I love that because when there isn't really a lot of groups in the scene right now that are really consistently always working together. They may be putting out their individual stuff, but with you guys, it's like all the EPs, the albums that are coming out soon. It's like it's all coming together, and you're kind of building the world of Mindflex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Wonderful way to put it.
it's really been. I can your stuff just screams art.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so visually appealing to watch and also really awesome to hear.
Appreciate
So
that.
I got to
Yeah.
give you the flowers on that because that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
But one thing that you guys have done at the start of 2025 is you guys are triplets. You know what I'm saying? You guys are having triplets.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna be dads in a way almost.
yeah.
You know what
I
I'm
I
saying?
know we're actually the triplets. I think.
That's
right?
what I mean, right?
We are our own fathers.
Yeah, we're
in
our own
a certain
fathers.
way.
Our own moms and dads. It's unbelievable.
So now
I mean,
it's
I
like
think
if you
majority
guys
of us
actually
are
do
fathers
have
in
kids, they gotta drop another triplet
Yeah,
EP.
volume 2.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
With them in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
20 years, but yeah,
It's
exactly.
in the clause. They
That's the
have to do
goal.
it.
That's
Right,
the goal.
of course,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. And we'll take 50% of their royalties, obviously.
Exactly.
Of course, right.
No, I'm
they
taking
they
100
have to earn
That's
it.
a-
You
that's
see what I mean?
a-
I was about to say, I'm
That's a
taking
fair
100% of my
deal.
kids' royalties.
That's
I
what I'm
don't
saying.
care.
It's like you started them in music. They didn't
Signing
start
my child
themselves.
to a 360 deal is crazy, bro.
Oh, right,
Yeah, more than
right off the rip.
720, bro. As soon as he gets out,
absolutely.
yeah, you in the
More
720.
rotation.
Yeah.
Every
I'll take a
rotation.
540 deal,
Every
my
year
guy.
they get older, it's another
I'm
rotation.
doing what Tony Hawk
Exactly.
did, 900 before they're even conscious. I'm making them sign that shit. You know what I mean? Lock them in for life.
On their birth certificate,
On their-
it's just gonna say, "Oh yeah, this is the clause when you turn 18. This is what has to happen." Sorry, but that's the decision.
I mean, they're going to be doing a hard 21 years signed to a 360 deal with me. So
Right,
it's, you know what I mean? It's,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah, it is what it is.
It's hilarious. They
what
come
it
home
is.
from kindergarten, so it's like, "Hey, how was your day at school? Oh, good. Got my royalties? What?
Yeah,
I just drew this picture. Like, I don't give a fuck."
they're giving me
It's like
lunch
you
money.
get royalties off that picture.
Right, yeah, it's like,
that
yeah.
shit whack as fuck, man. Get
You
got a
just take
20
the
album
sticker
deal
the
to work
teacher
to.
gave off the paper, and you're like, "No, this is my
This is
sticker.
mine.
Now
No.
I did a good job."
I'm a
You know
golden
what I mean?
star.
Right,
I'm the golden
exactly.
star here.
I
You
get
ain't
that
shit.
A plus. You
Yeah.
cut it out for the freaking project.
You wouldn't be anything without me.
I love it. But that's why, all your EPs, they're very different. They're breaks from the norm, and that's what you really have to appreciate about Mindflex music.
Right.
So where does kind of that inspiration to be different, to do what the next person isn't doing, come from?
I feel like that's an individual thing almost. I feel like it all starts with Ramon has his own reasons, Chace has his own reasons,
Yeah.
me, I feel like the fact that all of us hate being normal and we're all such fucking weirdos individually in our own special ways. It would be weird if we came together and decided to follow like your
Right.
basic track. You know what I mean? Like that wasn't even an option.
No.
Yeah, for real.
I don't think any of this would have happened if it wasn't for us being such like freaks.
I think that's kind of why we all like got close so quickly too. Like I realized I didn't even finish answering the same thing when me and Ramon met. Like there was that instant like, oh, we both have that same kind of weird.
Yeah.
like we're very different,
Yeah.
but also we have that thing that when we're around each other, there's just that like energy that
like,
just
it
we
clicks.
like feel
Of
it. And we
course.
just start having weird ideas. The same thing. Me and Nick worked at the highest stakes job you could possibly have. We were tree climbers.
Which
together.
I'm gonna get to that later, but
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's how we met, and we working together doing that shit. And
Real quick, where were your tree climbers at?
Save a tree.
Save a tree.
Save a tree.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
which is out of where?
The Lincoln branch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lincoln, but
okay,
across
okay.
the United
Yeah,
States.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was we worked together, and there was just that like immediate like, oh, I can be myself around you.
Yeah.
Which particularly in an environment like there,
Yeah.
not
Crazy.
really the thing. It's really blue collar. I mean, we were some of the youngest guys that were there working.
Yeah.
It's a lot of older.
On some Paul Bunyan shit.
Yeah,
Not chopping down the
exactly.
trees,
Yeah.
but climbing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Strong blue collar personalities. Guys
Yeah.
who like really work for their money. Sort
Rough
of
around
thing.
the edges a
Yeah,
little bit.
absolutely.
Yeah, so I can have fun at work, but I can't like be myself fully. And I think that was like immediately a thing where like, oh, you're fucking weirdo too.
It was like, oh my god, thank goodness.
But I think that was sort of for all of us. To Nick's point, like I hate feeling like I'm doing what other people are doing. When I see, oh, everybody's doing this, I'm like, bet I'm gonna go the complete opposite direction
Yeah.
and see what I can do with it. And I've always kind of been that way. I think for a long time I got stuck definitely in a loop of trying to fit into a scene for a little bit. I got early on, before I rebranded as Chace, I used to go by Seaspring. And when I rebranded, right towards the end, before COVID, I had like a real run. I was like, I had some momentum. I had a tour booked and shit. COVID happened. That all got fucked up.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, I was writing a lot of stuff that while it was getting me some traction in certain lanes, I fucking didn't like any of the music that I was making. Like, I genuinely hated it. And I felt like I was trying to do a thing. And I think really as this particular group, just the three of us, as we've been sort of like a rotating collective for a long time, I think now I look at it as more like a band. I don't think about us as like a rap group.
Yeah.
We've been coining the term boy band of the year.
Okay, yeah. Bring it back. No,
Like,
bring it back. Hey, bring the boy
for
bands
real,
back.
I grew
yeah.
up on boy bands.
Watch
and
out and
everybody-
sing.
Right.
Coming for your ass. Yo ass.
Listen, all the boy bands are either broken up or doing like another like reunion tour. So like
Yeah.
we need a new boy band.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually do. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
We need a group of pretty motherfuckers
Yeah. Exactly.
singing to your face.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
And I think honestly, like, all jokes aside, I think that's kind of what makes us unique and why we are the way we are, because we do work like a band. Like before I ever rapped, I just played in bands. I played guitar and I sang and I did all that shit. So like my experience in life is mostly with that. And when I got into rap, it felt more like just collaborative, but it's sort of like these short sparks of collaboration that you have where you maybe work on a project or do a song or two together. But
Right.
it's not really this thing where you like develop a chemistry and grow it over time and make it deeper than just like the raps. It's more so like, no, we literally are like best friends.
No,
And we
I hear that. In
we
the
are
music, you know what I
one
mean?
voice that is grown together. Like we all contribute to that voice and kind of find our own little way within
Right.
it. But it is,
You're like the best 3-man weave in the NBA.
That's-
you know what I mean?
yeah.
If you ever ran that drill, anybody watching
Yeah,
ever
yeah,
ran
yeah.
that drill, it's like
Yeah.
that's the thing that like took the most synergy and like teamwork to make. And like when I like watch the vids and I listen to music, even at showcases, you know what I mean? It's really evident that there's a good like brothership and friendship there. And that's what's going to carry all three of you like very far. And that's why you're going to be in this game, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line because of that constant like, all right, we're just a bunch of fucking weirdos. Who gives a fuck what other people think, man?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know what I mean? And like, it's just so liberating to hear, especially in today's day and age where you kind of have to go by the book, especially on the socials, to like either pop or to like either like make your reels like gain more traction. You have to do the formula,
Right.
But when you break away from the formula, those are the folks that like I feel will have the most attention brought their way because they're not like everybody else.
Right. I mean, there's something to be said in terms of all of these like music and social media influencers that kind of teach you this is the best way to do a thing.
right.
But the thing is that by the time you get that information as the consumer, it's too late.
Right.
The trend's already done.
Right.
So you're already in the sea of bullshit.
Right.
So
course.
why follow when you could just set the new standard? I mean, the best time to post every day isn't always the same. It becomes this time of day until too many people are posting at that time of day because we all read the same fucking article. And now it's this time of day. Now all of a sudden this is the time of day we're supposed to post. So fuck all of that.
Exactly. Because it's like, all right, there's 24 hours in a day. Are you going to start posting at midnight or 1 a.m. Where everyone's sleeping? It's like, what the fuck?
That engagement shit. So
right.
You can't be overthinking. Like, obviously, all that stuff's important, and there's, as I've done all different types of marketing and shit, and made so many mistakes doing music marketing stuff, and figured that all out. Like, obviously, there's stuff you need to think about, and to me, it's really about having a strong rollout plan. But I think people overemphasize a lot of that kind of stuff, and just like overthinking. And it's like, no, it's really just having like a strong creative voice,
right?
And having a really good idea, and like thinking about all the small details and how it all ties together,
right. And I personally, and it's good you say that, because I personally believe that Rick Rubin is kind of the go-to for if you want like a big-time guy like that, because I feel like anytime he's on a podcast or a show, he's always saying something that's very like sponge-like, where you want to absorb it. You don't want to be like a brick and let it fall through you, or like over. You want to be like a sponge. You want it to absorb. So I've had this clip saved on months on Twitter where he's like, we don't make things because we want like other people to like it. We make things because we love the art. And I feel like that just gets so lost on like a lot of people either currently in the industry or trying to break their way into the industry, especially in our microwave culture. Like you said, it's like, all right, all of a sudden on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., this is the best time to post. It's like, find your best time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't like, with the stuff that creatives go through on the daily, there is no set plan. There's no textbook. Right. Anybody who has 2 million followers can say there is, but it's like, all right, you were in my shoes once too. Just the fact that you broke through is cool, but it's like, don't try to say like there's a textbook, because there isn't. Because if I try to copy you, it isn't gonna go well.
Right.
No. So that's why there is no textbook. There's no plan. Right. The plan is you. You're the rollout. Right. You're the musician. You're the one. You're the art in a way. Is what I'm basically trying to say. Right. Yeah. Exactly. But one thing I also like about y'all is the urgency. There's a lot of drive there to push out new music, to push out new art. You know what I'm saying? You got your EP. We have Triplets out now. You got the Gunpowder music video, which I'll get to in a second because I fucking love that video. And I've also said, a lot of inspirations. But there's another urgency of having these dope showcases that you guys have thrown and also been a part of. Obviously, why am I forgetting the name of last year's showcase? Boomfest, right. Yes. I'm so stupid. It's literally outside of the wall. A lot of information. Talking fast.
We also have a lot of them, so.
Right, exactly.
We be doing them a lot.
Exactly. From the ones you guys are doing at New Dia, you really are like putting it on out here like that. You know what I'm saying? So what kind of has been like the part about it that you maybe, I don't want to say hate, dislike, or like maybe there's something there that you're like, all right, maybe this can be better the next time we do it?
Every aspect of it. No, I'm joking.
Because I feel that way sometimes about myself.
Yeah, I think we always strive to consistently improve. I think the stuff that gets hard, honestly, and I think this probably applies to me and Ramon the most because we end up getting mucked up with the most like video work and businessy work sometimes, is making sure to still enjoy it and not have it get too like you have this just like list of shit you got to get done to make the rollout all cool and fun and shit. Like that can get a little... That's something that I want to continue. Like, that's a challenge. Yeah. That's a challenge.
Because it's like, you don't hate it, but it's like, there's just... It's like any job. There's aspects of the part you just dislike.
Right. And
I think that's... doing too much of it is also like... Because you could like every aspect of it, but like... having like a whole daunting list after a while is just like...
It wears you down. That's the big thing, I think.
There's a ceiling with everything, you know what I mean? And not like a ceiling like this as far as you can go, but there's a ceiling as far as a person. You can push yourself and still skim that line between like, oh, I fucking love this, or oh, I fucking hate this now.
Trust me, you should see with me in the pockets. It's like, all right, I love this, I hate this.
Right.
It's literally
a grind.
It's a crazy ass graph, and it's like...
I mean, every professional athlete in the world hates their job sometimes. Every famous person hates their job. Perfect example, you can't see him right now, but Mr. Scarfo is sitting back there behind the cameras. We just worked at Boston Calling a couple weeks ago. And, like, I talk about this all the time because you see people we meet famous people. We drive them to the stage, basically. Right. That's what the thing is I drove Avril Lavigne, okay? These people are at work.
The clone or the actual person?
We'll talk about that. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I think she's real.
Okay.
And is not the friendliest.
Because he's a clown.
Okay.
But no, for real, like that's that thing. Like you see these people, and everybody wants to meet them and be their friend. They're like, "Oh, you're famous!" Oh my god,
Yeah.
they're at work.
Right.
Sometimes people don't like their fucking job.
No, right.
You know?
Yeah.
You think about it, doing a festival in Boston at Harvard and that tight ass
raining.
little back's raining.
fucking
I'm like,
raining.
in the middle of a
I'd be
field, like-
cranky too.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
want to do that.
No, of
Just because
course.
I'm rich and successful or whatever, but it doesn't matter whether you're still out here grinding at the lowest level or the highest level. Whatever spot in it you're at,
Right.
it's a grind if you take it seriously.
Of course. And it's good that you say that because this actually takes me to another interview that, lo and behold, John Cena said, out of all people, one of the most famous people on
Love
earth.
that
Fuck
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
know
love
what I
that
mean?
dude, man.
One of Massachusetts' greatest exports, you know what I mean?
Massachusetts legend right
Exactly.
there, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Do
Should have his
not
own-
disrespect the rap game with Cena.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it right now. The
Dude,
album's
his-
pretty fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His,
I was about-
his
there's no
WWE
disrespect. That dude put
freestyles,
respect
bro.
on rap.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's what got me into wrestling. I had his freaking
That's
poster
what got
above
me
my
into
bed.
rap. For
Right,
real.
exactly. See,
Yeah.
it all works out.
Yeah.
He had said that, now that he's obviously transitioning out of wrestling into being this kind of big movie star, which I personally believe people will still know him as the wrestler. No matter how you can have the biggest role, he's still the wrestler. He basically said, when people see him out at, like, let's say a coffee shop in, like, LA or California where he lives, he has these days where he kind of, like, they like, oh, can we get a phone? And he says no, but he kind of walks it through how people got to understand how, like, you see him as this, like, Superman figure, but you fail to also realize he is a person with, like,
He's just a dude.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
he's
He's
a regular
literally
guy, yeah.
just a dude. He may be one of the most famous wrestlers ever, but he's still that kind of guy with all these emotions. So if you ask him for a picture and he's like, oh, he's not feeling it, it's like, you kind of got to respect that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? As long as
person.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
right.
imagine if
For
someone
fuck's
came up to
sake.
you at your job and was like, "Let me have a picture." I'd be like, "Ew, get the fuck away from
yeah,
me!"
yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, it's
It's just
just
like you're just going through some shit. Just like
exactly.
normal
But that's the
day-to-day
other
life.
thing. That's what he
Yeah.
talked about too. He's like, I may be going through shit one day, isn't where
Yeah.
I'm just disassociated from all of society.
Yeah.
Even the agents in his phones. It's like
I mean, it's like, I feel like if you don't have that shit, if you don't have those feelings, if you don't have those, like, real human problems that, like, real humans are supposed to have, who are you?
right.
You know what I mean? It's,
yeah,
yeah.
you can't. As much as you could put on a facade, you can never actually take it away.
No,
Yeah.
I
Fuck
mean, if that's some American Psycho shit. If you don't
yeah.
fucking, it's weird. It's weird. I've met people who are like that too. Who, like, obviously not jobs that are so in the spotlight, but people who still have high intensity jobs. Stuff that kind of takes over their lives, and all their lives is work, and it's like there's no substance outside of it. And I feel like you only think of that shit when you think of movie stars and fucking singers, rappers, shit like that, because their face is in the camera all the time and, like, their life is work. But, like, I mean, even for regular dudes kind of like us, like, you probably have some coworkers or have had coworkers that just don't have substance. Their life is work. They're just, like, fucking weirdos, kind of, like, in the worst way possible. Like, I hate to say it, you know what I
No,
mean?
but absolutely.
Not like
Yeah.
weirdos in the way we mentioned earlier, but like different weirdos.
Yeah, like
right.
different weirdos. Like,
There's not
a bad
one weirdo.
connotation. Yeah,
There's
there's a level.
Mindflix weirdo, and then there's the work weirdo.
And then there's everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's whale poop, and then there's you.
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
And that to me ain't even like a Venn diagram or anything. That's just two different circles.
No, right, exactly. Yeah,
don't
that's not
touch.
even overlapping.
They don't even touch,
No,
yeah.
that's
If
literally.
you choose to be in between the two, that's on you, but I don't recognize that.
We'll put that as like a country that you're also banned from, right?
Yeah.
The work weirdos country or some
Yeah,
shit like
yeah.
that, right?
That's
You
the
know what I mean?
98th country.
Yeah, one of the
Right,
98.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, yep,
Number
yep.
98.
But
On
I
juice.
love all the movie references y'all are like saying right now because I'm such a movie buff myself, and I
Oh,
like
fuck it.
I obviously knew from Gunpowder like there was a lot of like not inspiration, but like you make these music videos like movies or like Emmy winning shows. So was there any like inspiration from a certain like actor or like director that you may have taken from or like any specific movie?
Ramon might answer this the best.
You know what's funny?
Because I mean, obviously,
such a good question.
Obviously,
This
is such a good question. I can answer this for you. It's not funny.
But I don't want to like.
Nah, I ain't
I'm
gonna
gonna
hold
let
you.
him talk, and then I'm gonna go off.
Yeah.
Hold on, yeah, here's the buzzer. Please.
Yeah.
It's a like known joke here. I don't really watch movies like that at all.
you
At all.
don't.
Yeah, no, I grew up like really interested in like video and like how like cameras work and like the aspect of like making movies and
Yeah,
stuff like
totally.
that. So like I would like watch like behind the scenes clips and like see like lighting setups and stuff like that because that's the part that interests me. But like I barely ever watched like an actual movie for real. So like it was actually Chase that had to like show me Dune. Like,
we sat down and watched Dune 1
Yeah.
and 2 together.
So
Yeah.
that's a
He'd
long
never
ass day,
seen it.
yeah.
Yeah,
never
no,
seen it.
It took like 24 hours out of my day. You seen that movie?
Of course, right.
It's
I've seen it
fucking-
multiple times. Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say that took like 2 weeks to actually run through that whole movie, but like we finally got it done, and then from there I was inspired.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chase
Best
was.
videographer in the group.
Yeah, the most
Doesn't
talented.
watch
the most
movies.
talented.
You are saying videographer is an undersell. Just visual artist, like his ability with anything, just to make it cinematic and beautiful and insane, and it drives me fucking batshit crazy because I have seen every movie. I'm
yeah, Chase
the
has seen
biggest
every-
movie nerd. I just recently did the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe in order, including every single TV show. I mean, like the Agents of Shields, all the like.
so like the actual shit
Cloak
that
and
they,
Dagger, like the ones that
type of shit.
nobody
Okay,
fucking
yeah.
watched. I watched everything in chronological order. It took me 3 months.
Oh my God.
I challenge
Yeah.
literally anybody else to do that.
Yeah.
I'm the type of motherfucker that's done that. I can recite every word to like every movie I've ever seen. I love movies so much.
I love that too. 'Cause I love
And I'll
movies.
never be as good as him, and he's never seen any movies.
He doesn't
No,
give,
It's
he,
literally
he,
like
almost doesn't give a
Soul
shit.
Plane.
Well, actually, let me, because
So if you
that
had
might
to say
sound
the
racist for a
three-
second.
Yeah, if you had
Let
to
me
say
just
the
break
three
it.
Fair.
No, let me
This
see.
is my best friend, so
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
context.
let me, no, because
Soul Plane.
one of my favorite movies, because like the movies I'm interested in are not really like blockbusters or anything. Like it's Black Man in San Francisco, like A24 movies, shit like that. Where it's just like it's like weird niche movies like that I really really love that have like a weird story or weird like concept going on with them that you barely see outside of that. Mostly because most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, no, I've seen this plot before. That's the problem with my like me watching movies. Sometimes it's like I know where this is gonna go because I've seen this plot before. So my favorite movies.
So
are
you'd be the best movie critic ever then.
yeah, no,
pretty much, right?
I'm just a hater in general.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
No,
So I
you
can
would be the
shout-
best at it because you also are able to objectively enjoy something that's like campy that a stuck-up film critic would not
Yeah,
give a
that is
good
true,
review
yeah.
to. All the like movies that have horrible reviews on Rotten Tomatoes but are like cult classics. I'm like, you're the type of person that recognizes when a
Yeah.
movie is
Yeah.
good when no one else gets it.
yeah.
And I'm like, that, but that again plays into why you are creative in the way you are and think the way that, that's,
That's Ramon.
yeah.
It's fucking.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why.
yeah.
That's despite the fact that he's seen no movies fucking
Yeah.
ever.
That's
He's
he's
still
still more
able
volumes
to-
though.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
It's
definitely
like,
does,
yeah.
but it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, to take in zero substance
Yeah.
and spit out fucking art
Right.
is
Right.
like,
Well,
like fuck you, bro.
Well, so it's fun. A lot of times we'll just, we just kind of spit. We'll do this right here. We'll just be in the studio. We really get, have a little party time before,
Yeah.
and then we sit down and we just spitball ideas and stuff. And someone will come up with some film reference. I'll be like, here, look at it. And he'll be like, oh yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, literally.
All right.
Because the part that interests me is the behind the scenes setups
Yeah.
every time. So
Yeah.
like I would look at a scene and be like breaking it down
Yeah.
in my head, like, oh yeah, no, we could actually replicate that.
I love that.
The only advantage of this part of our friendship is the fact that I solely get to be the person to show you so many movies, and that's
See,
such
that's
a
such
rare
good
thing.
give and take.
That's
I think
rare.
that's such
so
good
it
give and
does
take.
drive me nuts, but
Yeah,
It's cool.
I love you, so it's
He,
fine.
he likes that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's
and I'll watch a movie one day for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure,
We're-
beyond like Shrek 2, even though one of the best
Yeah.
sequels of all
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
Shrek 2, I'll stamp that
You've seen
motherfucker.
all of the Shreks.
All of the Shreks except the new one that's coming out, man.
Nah,
They got
well,
DreamWorks got to send me that
yeah,
one
yeah,
personally.
yeah.
But
It might be
other than
cheap.
that,
Pre-screening.
yeah, pre-screening. You know,
Right.
I gotta see that person.
fucking crazy, Shrek, dude. That's just so wild to me. That's fucking crazy.
No, but it's just because I had this conversation with one of my old roommates. We're movie buffs as well. Like I remember during 2020, right before we left college because it got shut down, we just went on this contingent of watching movies that we didn't go to the theaters and see, like Uncut Gems, Once Upon a Time in
yeah.
Hollywood, like
love
all
Uncut
like
My
I like to say I don't watch bad movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
even like you said, if it's a cult classic, I'm gonna realize it's a cult classic. Like the one movie I kind of go to is Better Man, the Robbie Williams story where he's a CGI monkey the whole time.
Yeah.
One of the best movies I've ever seen in my life, right? Everyone's tearing it to shreds before it comes out. No one's giving it a chance. They dropped actually like one music video from it. It's like, you know what? I'm sold. I'm gonna go watch that. I fucking cried 4 times in that fucking movie over a CGI monkey. Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
that's
the power of
yeah,
movies right
yeah,
there. That's
that's
how you
crazy.
make fucking art.
Yeah.
And so, since the music video's out now, like, kind of walk me through the Gunpowder like filming process. You know, all the dope costumes you guys put on, where it was located, like all that shit. Because I really think more people gotta watch this because it's real life. Like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Dude,
Yeah,
there was a lot of working parts to make that whole thing happen. We were out in Truro. For those who don't know, that's a Truro, whatever.
Yeah, at the end of the Cape.
At the very end of the Cape.
At the very
yeah,
end.
yeah.
Very end.
So
yeah.
that
So like past
location,
P-Town?
right before
like
P-Town.
before-
Yeah.
Right before P-Town. Okay.
P-Town's here. We were right there.
Oh wow.
So
Holy
actually,
shit.
that
yeah.
location I found maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. So I have worked in the cannabis industry for a long time, and I was traveling out to accounts out in P-Town on just doing some visits and stuff. And I've driven by that probably a million times, but I got a really good look at it, and I was like, man, this looks like a fucking sand planet. I'm like, this looks like Tatooine from Star Wars or some shit. And I'm like, this would just be so cool for some kind of like space themed, something. And I'm like, I'm just gonna remember this location. It sat in the back of my brain for a long time. We almost used it for a different project at one point. And then we were kind of going through this rebrand with just the three of us, and we had Gunpowder, the song was done. And then we kind of talked about a bunch of different ideas for videos at that point. I don't really remember any of the original ideas outside of that, but at some point we just sort of clicked on the idea of like, oh, we should use that location. And then I don't really remember how Dune became the final reference, but I think just because Dune 2 had just come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading the books at the time, too.
Yeah, you
I was,
were-
like, big
Oh,
on
you're
it.
a trooper for that shit. Holy shit.
I did them on Audible, which
Yeah.
is tolerable, but
Right, yeah.
long.
Still, right.
Yeah, how long
Trust
ago?
me, I got the
2
Jurassic
days?
Park book on Audible.
Yeah,
That's-
okay, yeah. And I'm also a huge Dune fan, and I'm actually a fan of the original Dune.
Oh,
like the old,
80 one.
the 80s one,
Yeah, right,
which
yeah.
is really wild, old green screen shit.
I'm not. I couldn't get past it.
I love
mean,
that.
I feel like we're
Yeah.
spoiled with like green
Yeah.
screens and shit like
Yeah.
that. So when you do watch a movie like that, you're like, well,
It's
this
just-
kind of
I'm
sucks.
basically an
but-
iPad kid.
I
I'm a
actually
big-
love seeing stuff like
I'm
that.
a
'cause,
sci-fi
like,
guy, so like
Yeah.
I like that, and I like a lot of the funky 80s stuff, like Blade Runner.
course.
Big fan of that.
Yep.
The OG Tron, the original
yeah.
Tron,
Oh,
which
I
is the
love
first
the
use
Tron
of green.
CG.
That was
Yeah.
was it blue screen or green screen? Was that the first use of?
I think it might have been blue screen, but
I
either
don't remember
it's the
about
same
it.
shit.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
It's used for the
exactly.
same purpose.
But it was the first like Hollywood release, I think, of either blue or green screen movie. So Disney too.
Old ass is
Yeah, so
old
that,
ass Disney movie.
I like a lot of that sort of like era of stuff. So at some point between that and Star Wars, we kind of landed down that lane, and then we were thinking about like what's going to be our like hard reference for this, the way we shoot this, and it ended up being Dune. So yeah, like we were talking about before, Ramon and I sat down and watched. I think it was on 2 separate days. We watched Dune 1 and Dune 2.
Yeah, because you can't do that in one day.
Yeah,
It was
Yeah,
like a
but-
tutor, basically.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Ramon, come over for your lessons.
Literally, no,
Right?
legitimately, we just hung out on the couch and just sat there and just like, you know, a scene would come up and we'd go take a picture of that. Like,
Yeah, literally, like just until like the sun went down. Like I actually saw the sun go down.
Yeah.
Like during that movie process, that shit was crazy.
See, that's such a good way of doing it because I feel like it's one of those things where you have the idea in your head, but you can't really like put it out if like you don't draw or whatever. So you have to like actually get visual representation with
Right.
that. I've had that with myself with like a lot of stuff. Just planning ciphers, like the future ones. I'm thinking like I can't really explain this, so I have to show you it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot easier to do it
Right,
that way
exactly.
anyways. I mean, most people are visual learners.
Yeah, and also like a lot of like the people I know for the most part aren't really like movie heads, you know. So it's like if I make like a Grand Budapest Hotel reference, they're not gonna get
What
it.
is
Right.
that?
Who
Yeah.
are you?
Which is my favorite movie of all time.
That's-
But like,
yes.
Good movie.
Exactly.
Yes.
I fucking love
so
that
good.
movie. That's a movie
Yeah,
I
it's-
can recite the whole script to, like front to back.
Talking about
Yeah.
cult classics, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that's,
I'm-
that's
I'm
like,
Wes
that's like-
Anderson.
anything
my
Wes
favorite
Anderson
director.
is.
You excited for his new movie?
I just love his movie.
I completely forgot it came out Friday, so I'm gonna go try to go see it tomorrow. If not, I'm gonna give myself a self movie day. I'm gonna do 2 in one day. I'm gonna go see that, and I'm gonna go see the new John Wick movie because I love the John Wick
fuck
movies.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, please direct a fucking movie. Please make a movie,
Oh,
like somehow,
that'd be-
some
Oh,
way.
I
Hurry
already
up.
did.
Like, you know what I mean? Right,
He has
yeah.
one.
I
done.
have one in the tuck.
I'm gonna ask you about that, but
Yeah.
yeah, just please, for God's sake, like your
right.
ideas, like your creative process is too good. Like
I have a script sitting that never got done, and then Ramon and I in particular have had we were roommates for a long time, so there were
Yeah,
a
so-
lot of just like
Yeah.
getting way too high and then just like
course.
So many
spitballing.
movies.
And we'd be joking, but then we'd accidentally fall into a good idea, whether serious or humorous. Very often we'd be like, all right, well, one of us should write this down because I'm definitely gonna forget that.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of shit over the years that's just kind of sat. We're gonna.
Yeah.
We've been. One thing that him and I talked about a lot is like not trying to bite off more than we can chew was sort of an issue with older iterations of this group. So we've been trying to really focus on getting the music
Yeah.
done and
Like I
focus
said, it's
on
very
getting
calculated,
that, and
you know
then
what I mean?
build that platform. Is we created Mindflex TV. That was a long-term goal because all of us are visual artists also. Like
Right.
we want to create other types of content besides just music and create a world building. You brought that up. That's a word I say aggressively
Yeah.
a lot.
He does.
It's in the vernacular, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're so multifaceted. It's like to stick to one lane within our little culture of stuff we do is just impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just impossible. And it'd be dumb of us not to blend
Right.
all these aspects of life that we all come from and all the different
Yeah,
stuff we do
literally.
together. I mean,
Yeah.
it just makes no sense not
I mean,
to.
because like music and movies, they go hand in hand.
They go
You know
hand
what I
in
mean? Like
hand.
with any creative thing, just
Yeah.
goes hand in hand with one thing.
Well,
So
it's like, like music and fashion,
Right.
music and arts,
literally.
music and
Right.
all of it. Like, all of the stuff that we love outside of music is directly tied to music or influenced music
Yeah.
or, one way or the other.
Of course.
No matter how you spin it.
Yeah, listen, I mean, The Weeknd put out a fucking terrible ass movie to go along with his album, so
Yeah.
That's always the
bar's
goal.
low.
Yeah, that's always the goal.
Right, the bar's extremely
bar's
low.
really
right.
low, yeah.
Yeah, so now you guys can set it if
Oh,
in the
shit.
future, of course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If I can act better than The Weeknd, that's all I really need.
Yeah.
I feel like we already achieved
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you're good.
I feel like the sperm skit was pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
Yeah,
yeah,
no, that was a
sperm
really
skit
great
was
acting.
fair.
Yeah, that was.
All right, now, what the hell is the sperm skit?
I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
It's already out.
Yeah.
It's yeah,
it's
no,
bad.
it-
Okay.
It's on the internet.
It's bad.
all right.
It's bad.
I will be finding it later tonight. I'm going to give you my honest thoughts.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Scroll down,
Hey,
you'll find
yeah.
it real quick.
Okay, gotcha.
Hey, like me and Chase got, like we get high.
Oh, that was
too
the
much.
thing.
Yeah,
That was the
that's
thing
one
for
of the
Triplets
ideas.
EP, the
Yeah,
sperm
yeah,
skit.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I just saw it fucking
Yeah.
I
an hour ago.
didn't conceptualize what they were talking about until it was time to shoot it.
To be
Yeah.
fair, the original idea was for it to be 3 babies in a womb, and this motherfucker turned it into
Yeah, I turned it
sperm.
to sperm. Yeah, that was my fault, y'all.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
it's
I
babies.
apologize.
You got to pick one or the other. You know
Yeah,
what
no,
I mean?
fact.
It's like-
And
And honestly,
got turned
it was
into
easier
nut, my boy.
finding 3 sperms that match rather than 3 babies that matched up.
Right.
So yeah, I
Yo,
apologize.
my stepmom shares our stuff to her story, and she liked that post. That shit's
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah, my
That's
mom
insane.
follows me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Actually, both my mom.
I never gave my mom my social media,
My
so I'm
sisters-
good.
Yelisa, if you
No, my
see
mom
this, I'm
follows her, too.
sorry.
Yeah. So she's like, she gets it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? She's your mom. She's gonna support it, but it's
Yeah.
like, I do think about that. Like, what am I talking about with shit like that? Or what do I post? I'm like, she's gonna see it. She doesn't call me out on certain things, so it's like, I mean, why would she? It's like, what
No.
whatever.
I mean, she calls me out for smoking on camera, and she's always like, Nicholas, that's bad. What all that stuff. But how the
course.
fuck do you bring up Nicholas? You were a sperm. You were a nut. What I mean? It's a conversation I hope to avoid for the rest of my life.
I mean, to be fair, technically you were before. That's how you got
we
here.
all were technically.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
So-
touche.
You're like, Mom, that was just a baby picture.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
5
fact.
people in this room were sperm, so
Yeah.
it's like, oh.
Yeah, I thought that was like an ultrasound or something like
Right,
that.
exactly.
That's-
Yeah, it's like crazy. Like I went back to 1997, I found it. It's
Medical
fucking bizarre.
documents, dude.
So
I got a HIPAA violation for finding those.
Yeah, seriously.
A walking HIPAA violation.
that's gonna be the name of this episode, the Walking HIPAA Violation.
That's actually the next EP is HIPAA violation.
I like that.
Yeah,
It's
right
actually,
after.
my, it's actually my kid's name.
Yeah, step it up. You just gotta keep stepping it up. You know what I'm saying? The awesome weirdness. I want to just keep going. You know?
Yeah, keep
What's
going,
the
yeah.
next fucking level? I love it. All right. So I need to ask y'all about your next upcoming album, The Function.
Yeah.
So what is that going to entail? When's it going to drop? What's it going to, is there any story behind the album? Any features? You know what I'm saying? What do we got?
So, I don't have any timeline for it right now.
Okay.
That's one thing that we talked about with this era is that we are taking our time and feeling happy with something before we start rolling it out and making sure it's very organized so that when we do roll it out, it's sort of like a rapid fire thing. Like you see with the We're Having Triplets, like there's essentially been no break in content release since we started rolling it out.
Yeah.
Like it's just been consistent.
Of course.
So that's kind of the mentality that we want to take. So I don't have a timeline for it quite yet, but I do know we're going to definitely have some stuff coming out in the near-ish future. The title for it, The Function, we kind of talked a lot about what we didn't like about the kind of music we were making as a group I don't really feel that this conversation applies so much as solo artists, but like as a group, like when we were performing live, like what was missing, what didn't we like, and I think we all kind of came to the agreement that like we wanted more hype shit, we wanted more stuff that moved the crowd, but we didn't necessarily want to fall into the trap of like trying to make shit that's like a club record or like, you know, we still want to make like weird music.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like weird music you can shake your ass to, probably.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's
pretty much.
exactly it.
That should be a song on the album. Weird music.
It may end up being one. Doesn't have a finished track list, so there's still room.
Right,
There's
exactly.
room.
Yeah, I like
We
that.
got room for
I think
that.
we're gonna slide that one, and I like
Yeah, that might
Yeah,
happen.
right after like walking HIPAA violation, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, right after walking HIPAA violation. Yeah. No, I mean, it was really just about building really high energy music. We wanted to have just like a really strong catalog of stuff that got people moving at shows. I think because of the way we move and kind of the skill set that we have and the eventual goals of getting more live musicians involved with when we're playing, like having a really high energy show was kind of really important. All the work we've been doing throwing shows in the first place, I'm like, I feel like it's just the best way to market yourself, particularly when we're doing the type of stuff that we do. Like if we can throw a great performance, it's going to make a big difference. I think the best artists in the city, the people that are the real up and coming, the ones that are going places with this stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that that common thread is that they're all really good live performers.
Facts.
really good
Shout out to Caesar, by the
Yeah,
way.
Yeah,
literally.
Caesar, yeah.
And
Caesar, dude.
no lie, that's exactly who I was thinking about when I
Right.
said that. That's a perfect example. Shout out my boy Caesar. We love you.
Yeah, we love you, Caesar.
But I think that is kind of the thing that is the common thread, and I really wanted to make sure that that was the number one emphasis. So when we called it the function, literally we talked about like what's the goal with this, and like at one point I think I said it. I was like, well, we want to make songs like for the function, right? And I was like, wait, what if we kind of worked that somehow? And then we kind of, I don't remember, there was a bunch of different words.
We were sitting in your living room, cooked.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Rattling off different names, and like I have this thing where I'll just keep saying stuff.
Yeah,
like
but
I just keep like rattling off like iterations of names until something sticks. And live at the function got thrown out.
That's what the original
Yeah, it
one
was live at the
Live
function,
yeah.
and then it got workshopped, and we were like at the function, the function, and then just the function, not the just function. And then somehow it ended on the function. We were like, "That's it," and you were like, "That's it," and you were that's it, and we were like, "That's it, that's it,
That's
there
it.
it is,
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So kind of what it is like a conceptual party. Like the album is like,
I like
it's
that
a
a whole
concept
lot.
album of basically going to a party.
yeah.
That's
You're at the
Mindflex
function
show.
Yeah,
Right,
you're
right,
at the
kind
Mindflex
of.
function.
Because
Yeah.
Bloomfest was my first time seeing you and like Caesar perform, and I'm like, because since then I had only known like the hippie, like the hip hop guys, the bar
Yeah.
heavy, like
Right, yeah.
lyrical, not like lyrical miracles, but like the guys really emphasis on lyrics and stuff
Right.
like that. So that was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like y'all came out straight from the back. Y'all walked through the crowd like you're the
Right.
Shield in WWE or so on some
Yeah.
NWO shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
It's like that Danny DeVito crying like thing, and always he's like.
I get it. Yeah, the Mac episode.
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
exactly,
the Mac
yeah.
episode. Yeah,
It's like
the
it-
prison dance.
Right,
Oh my god,
exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I was like, I get it. Holy shit.
I mean, that's what we're like. Even outside the function, I mean, that's who we are.
Right.
That's Mindflex,
Exactly.
and the function is just like one little part of that. It's just a small embodiment of who we
Right.
who we are.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want that energy capsulated. We want that.
course.
We want that
Absolutely.
shit to carry across every single goddamn track. Like every live performance we do. You know what I mean? Like the bar isn't set at one place. It's just fucking.
Yeah.
It's like-
No, right,
it's
just
how
keep
can we-
raising it.
Yeah. How can we outdo ourselves in the circumstances that we have?
And I
Right.
think honestly, that's the only problem you guys have to worry about, even if it is a problem. What's the next step? Like, how can you
Yeah.
outdo the last performance? And I feel with y'all, it's gonna come really easy.
Yeah.
Because you just have that mentality already in the back of your head that like, all right, that performance was dope.
Right.
All right, but watch this next one.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
facts,
So
yeah.
it's like Tom Brady says, "What's my favorite ring? The next one."
Yeah.
Type
Exactly,
shit. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
No,
That's
But it is.
exact-
It's type shit.
That's what it's
Type
gonna
shit.
say.
Type
You know what I mean?
shit.
Type shit. Type shit.
Yeah.
Type shit. That's right. You know what I'm saying? Type shit.
Uh,
Right. Of
oh,
course.
jeez.
I mean, in all seriousness, like after a show, we are just like a team after they finish a game. Like we do literally have a huddle. We sit down
Right.
and talk about, okay, what was good, what was bad.
Yeah, actually.
It's
sweat
immediate.
profusely.
It's immediate.
Yeah.
There's no like, woo, we did it. It's like, okay, well,
No,
how
right.
do we feel about that? What was good? What was bad? What
Yeah.
Literally immediately. And I think we're all hungry as fuck. I think that's kind of the thing, is that we're
Amen
all
to
very
that.
much so on the same page. We're all very hungry. And we understand that this shit is a team sport. That, like, we need to work as a unit, and we need to move as a unit, and we need to think as a unit. So the more we are on the same page and the more able we're to be critical of ourselves and each other without having it, like, sting, and have it just be like, this is constructive, we're getting better because we're acknowledging the fact that these certain things could be better. I think that's why we are the way we are.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. I love it.
Absolutely.
And, you know, this is your job. You know, I mean, you've had the tree climbing and the cannabis, which we'll get into in a minute, but once you see people like yourselves treat it like a job, it's easier to support. In a way, if that makes sense. You know, it's like, all right, these guys are going all out, you know, and now that everyone who watches this episode, and especially myself, knows the backstory of the dedication, grind it takes, it's like, all right, I'm going to go to a Mindflex show if I'm in the city, obviously, because the last New Dia one, I was in Vegas. But that's, on 420 weekend, of all weekends, right.
That's a good reason to not be at New Dia.
Right,
That's
exactly. Acceptable. I even told
I'll
Mike,
give you
I
that,
was
my
like,
boy.
when I go to Vegas, it's like, I was going to WrestleMania, but it's like, I could try to skip it because I got to be in Vegas next year.
Bro, I would have gone.
These are good problems to have. Like, you know what I mean? It's whatever I can.
You know what's the great thing?
I mean, we'll have another show.
There's always another Mindflex show. There's
Right,
always
exactly.
another Mindflex show.
Especially ones on 420. I mean,
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's our day.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's that. That's the Mindflex holiday.
we've coined that.
That's
Exactly.
like, you know, the mayor of Boston got to make that Mindflex day
Yeah.
in Boston. And
No,
like,
it's
420 Wong, dude.
Right,
We are in
exactly.
talks with Mayor Wu about that,
Yeah,
by the way.
I'll get her on the phone. I'll be like, hey, because I got some people in City Hall. I'll be like, hey, just do me this favor real quick. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right. So now that you mentioned a tree climbing job, I got to know, and I used to, and before I get into this, I occasionally bring up this segment called Weirdest Work Story. It was the title of the third ever Say That episode, basically where me and my former co-host, the whole, you know, we went through our spiel, but the whole main event of the episode was we gave our weirdest work story. And everybody's got them. I do. I work with tourists all day. I have a bunch. I've said probably 2 on this show out of 20 that I have. So for the tree climbers, what was the most dangerous part of the job? And was there any, like, weirdest moments on the job?
Oh shit. So
One you can think of. You know, you got
So I'll start with saying this: I am still a tree climber. Still,
Okay.
I'm an arborist. I don't climb trees anymore, but consulting work, whatever. But I have more weird stories and dangerous stories than I have not. First, I'll say this: I have been doing this since I was 17. I'm 27 now. I've been doing this since I was 17.
whole decade.
When I was 19, I fell out of a tree.
Ooh.
Yeah, I fell.
How high was it?
I fell like 20 feet, and my rope caught me. It was attached to my hips on my saddle, and I fell, and it caught me and slipped both my discs like that. They just went,
Fuck.
and then I swung back in and cracked my tailbone.
And this nigga
Holy
decided
shit.
to do 8 more years after that.
Yeah. Oh, I did. I'm a
That's
lifer.
crazy.
We didn't even know each other yet.
No, he was still working at Urban at that point. You know,
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
still
and
working a normal job.
I was out for 6 months after that, and I went back to it. A little bit of a pay bump, and I was back in the bitch.
Right, yeah.
I was back in the saddle. No joke.
Man, I think my worst moment doing a job wasn't actually at Save a Tree. I was doing what we call a buzzy in the industry, which is basically a side job where you don't have insurance. So you got to be real careful on those, but they're usually good money. That's why you do it. So my cousin owns a landscaping company down in Connecticut, and he had some removals he needed done. So he sent me pictures of the trees. I'm like, oh yeah, they look fine. I got it. I get down there, they're fucking big. Like, I've removed some decent sized trees, but they were like by far the biggest things that I've ever done. So I do the first one. Surprisingly, get the whole thing down, no problems. I'm swinging pieces over the top of the house and shit. I got all this fancy rigging going. It's really tight. I had to remove, it's just sugar maple hanging out over a whole house. So I take the whole thing down, blah, blah, blah. Now it comes to the easy tree, the small one. I spike up a limb. We have these little things that we climb up, and I go to cut the piece, and I tied it not the best way, and it swang and came back, and it was probably about 100-pound piece came and swang and hit me square in the nuts.
Oh.
And like when I say in the nuts, I mean it swang like up and like pinned my balls into the bottom of my body. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I literally almost threw up. I like collapsed and I'm just hanging in the tree. My cousin's staring at me like,
What do I do?
what do I do? And I'm just sitting there. He's like, are you okay? And I'm like,
Okay.
Just please find my nuts.
Not even a flex. I am a very tough kid. I grew up racing motocross, skateboarder.
Yeah.
I grew up on a farm.
Fuck yeah.
I was an athlete. I'm a tough motherfucker. That was bad. But I was like, I'm holding it in. I'm gonna tough it out. Somehow managed to finish taking the tree down without coming out of the tree. My nuts hurt real fucking bad. That was probably the worst injury I ever got in a tree. I have come close to cutting my rope a couple times though.
Ooh, yeah.
Chainsaw,
I've
a couple
cut my rope.
chainsaw, yeah, a lot of handsaw injuries. Oh man,
I'm a decade in the industry.
Right.
Half of the if it's not from BMX, dude, it's from fucking tree work.
I'm trying to think of a good story that we had together where we were working together.
There's hundreds of stories where
What
I'm
about
up
the
in
Chris
a big
Kelly
tree.
with the baby squirrels? Were you there for that one?
When I killed the baby squirrel?
No, when Chris Kelly killed the baby squirrels.
I remember
I
when
don't-
Gibbons killed the
Damn, I
baby
don't know.
squirrel.
Yeah,
I don't know
This
about
one time
any
I
of
was up in
that.
a big spruce tree. I was like 90, 80 feet in the air, and I'm climbing up, and there's a squirrel's nest above me, and I'm shaping the tree, whatever, and they start running down because they're scared, so they start running all over me. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
and then they start nipping me.
Oh,
They start
shit.
biting me, yeah, and they start bugging me out really bad.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, like, I'm sorry, PETA. the thing, like, my hands up on the branch like this, and the thing's, like, going to nip it, dude, and I just take my handsaw, and I just... The thing was just like, bonk, dude. I was like, yo!
Yeah.
And, like, I start lowering some pieces, and all you see is just, like, kunk, 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 dude. The squirrel just, like, falls down the tree without a head. And the guy on the ground's like, the guy on the ground is actually my current roommate. He was like, what the fuck? I was like, what are you doing?
Hey, they weren't doing it. I'm trying to do my job.
I don't
Hey.
have rabies.
Right,
Hey.
no, fuck no, right.
Working it.
That's hilarious. Holy shit.
Yo, RP that squirrel, man.
Yeah, rip.
RP, yeah, whole generation of squirrels gone
just
like
gone.
that. Crazy shit. That's
Oh, we had a
shit.
guy at work cut his arm real bad.
Yeah, Charlie Williams, shout out him. He was 61 years old, high as a fucking kite, and was rushing through a job, slipped the saw, got kicked back, and he...
Like up his, yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. It was something like...
Wait, is that shit off?
No, it was
No,
on,
but
on
what
38
happened is
stitches.
the chainsaw, the tip of it caught his arm, and what it does is once it catches something, it
on track.
rides it.
Yeah.
So it just eats into your arm and rolls up your arm and just shreds it.
37 stitches in the arm, rushed
Oh my
out. Yes,
God. How
does it
splayed
still
open like a
happen?
Talk
fucking
about a
pig.
tough
I was gonna
motherfucker.
say, 'cause, like your veins are right there and shit.
I don't. Did he even break a sweat? He was just
He was back at work 2 days later. Yo, with,
Psycho.
with stitches and
Yo,
everything.
shout out to the
Psycho.
fucking
Hey,
tree
yo,
climbers.
capitalism,
Yeah.
dog.
That's what I
That's
mean.
what we
Like,
at.
oh my god.
No disrespect to other professions, but it is literally a top 3 most dangerous job in the world. It's more dangerous than being a police officer, so I don't want to hear any disrespect on
Right.
tree workers, the hardest working motherfuckers in the world. They're all underpaid.
I'm making
and
a tree-
Every
I'm-
time you underbid them, you are the dickhead.
Yeah,
I'm
all
making a tree climbers lives matter flag. And
Yo,
Yeah.
whatever,
No,
color,
facts, yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
color you want, it's just
Green.
Put it,
Just
might
put
be like,
green on
like
that bitch.
forest
Green.
green, like
Forest
camo
green.
or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yo,
like,
but it's like actually so I'm a sales arborist. I got out of climbing the trees now, and I sell the work for my
Yeah.
company, whatever, big corporate company, and I'm sending out proposals all day, 12 proposals a day, big numbers, 25,000, 15,000, big numbers, and it's not that I'm fudging numbers, it's just that's what it costs. And like Chase said, all those people that underbid and like so many people will be like, that price is too high. I'm like, well, do you want my guys to die?
Right.
You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm like,
like it's
I'm like-
not like some like just random ass job. Like,
No.
dude, they're climbing trees
Yeah.
to cut them
and
down.
like half of
Like
these
50-foot trees.
are
Right.
gonna fall on your house and hurt you and do more property damage. It's
Right.
like respect the industry type shit.
Seriously,
Type shit.
yeah. I like no, because
shit.
that opened my eyes to a lot of shit. Because I didn't even really like think about it like that.
Yeah.
Like because I've been like zip lining in New Hampshire, and I see these tall ass trees, like, oh, that's cool. But like I never knew there was like an actual like this is the ins and outs of it. Like
Right.
this shit's fucking dangerous.
I feel like nobody thinks about it until you're a homeowner.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
you buy, and not necessarily like condo people, but if you buy a house with property, like nobody thinks about it or really has any sense of the cost
Yeah.
of it or like how dangerous it is to not deal with
And
these
you would
things.
think if they live in those like highly like forest areas like New Hampshire, Vermont, they
Yeah.
would like that. Just
Yeah.
that'd be the first thing on their minds.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, we get storms.
Yeah.
We get fucking a lot of rain, wind, and snow. Like shit's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You gotta
it's-
think it through.
It's not if, it's just when. It's
Right.
It's always a when. It's a when.
Right, exactly. So now I gotta ask, y'all would climb the redwoods in San Francisco, right?
No.
Never? You wouldn't do it?
Climb them? Oh, fuck yeah, I would.
No, not
Absolutely.
cut them down. No, cut them down.
Yeah.
Like climb them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have zero fear of heights or like danger and shit like that. Like
You are my hero.
I ironically do have a fear of heights.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just a total psycho, so I just got over it.
Right.
And it turns out, funny enough, I'm still fine doing this stuff. A couple weeks ago, I was at, I do social media for a trash company, and I was at a Touch a Truck event they were doing. I pull into the parking lot, lo and behold, I see two of our idiot coworkers sitting there hanging out, goofing around. Then they have a bucket truck, and I was like, you're putting me up in that again today. And they put me up full stick in it. That's 75-footer, right?
65.
65.
65, yeah.
Straight up, yeah. And I was fine. I was like, I missed this. It's nice.
It's funny. I remember times, because like when Chase joined with me, I was far ahead of him in the career. You know, like I had been there for
I was his ground man.
Yeah.
I dragged brush for him.
There's been times where we're in trees together where Chase is like, I gotta go down. I can't do this. And there'd be times that are in sketchy situations. Like, yeah, no, I'm okay. I got this. Like, oh, this is totally fine. I'm like, where do you fucking draw the line, bro?
You know what was funny
it's
about
hard
me?
to tell.
It's like at a certain point.
Specific example. So this is my specific lane of psycho, because statistically speaking, my opinion on this is 100% incorrect. I was the guy that would say yes to doing work next to power lines because it was lower to the ground instead of climbing it. So I would do a tree
like
where
it's
I'm
even more dangerous.
My head is like as far away from the power line as I am to Ramon, and it's only 40 feet off the ground. Instead of doing a tree in the middle of the woods that's 80 feet tall and totally healthy and whatever, I'd rather do the 40-foot one near power lines.
I'm taking the 80 any day.
This motherfucker's crazy.
Seriously. God
White
damn.
people shit.
I don't know why. I trust my ability to not touch that power line more than I trust that tree to not fall.
Facts.
Right.
You should have never got us talking about trees.
Yeah.
You're never gonna get us
Well,
off
I'm
this
gonna
topic.
get you actually talking about a different form of tree.
Yeah, I was
'cause
about
I know, you know,
shit.
I've done
Talking about cannabis
a
now.
lot
I
of
know
work in
where
the
we're going with
cannabis
this.
industry. You know what I mean? And obviously for throwing shows that, you know, New Dia, you know, you had the whole Bloomfest last year. Chase, I know you've done a lot of work. Actually, I'm on 6 months sober weed right now, just for my own being, right?
Good
you know
for
what I mean?
you.
That's good,
I
yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
But the one thing I remember last year is the J you gave me. I was like, holy fuck, this is awesome. Like, I was like, I'm high as fuck right now.
I assume that was probably a Paper Crane joint. I
think it was, yeah.
Shout out
Paper
Paper Crane. My homie Fran, who I literally was just hanging out with last week. She's the best. Paper Crane, literally sun grown, all organic, some of the best flowers.
I love
in my
it.
opinion.
So,
Yeah.
and I know in Massachusetts, it seems like there's a lot more dispos popping up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Every day. But equally, it seems like a lot of them are giving away their licenses.
Yeah.
So do you think it's getting to a point where it's like, all right, maybe we have too much, or maybe we like don't like? Is there like a problem with that, like in just the state or even nationwide where where it's legal in certain states, like recreationally?
There's two sides of this where this is a really big issue. So one is the regulation and the amount of hoops you have to jump through to open up a cannabis business in this state is unacceptable.
Right.
It's far too expensive. The idea that any small business owner could open a mom and pop cannabis business with just like a normal amount of money, like if anybody comes to me and say, hey, I like weed, I'd like to get into the cannabis industry, I have some money to invest, like my immediate advice is don't.
Yeah.
If you want to grow weed for yourself and do that, like do that and get a hobby and invest in something else, because it's ridiculous the hoops that you have to jump through and all the bullshit that the people that care about this product have to do to get it there. So you have that problem. The other issue you have is a lot of people that just really don't know what they're doing, and they're kind of getting into this without really understanding what it takes to get there. And honestly, I would think of myself as a perfect example of someone that a couple years ago thought, if I had, you know, say somebody in my family died and I got some, you know, whatever, I got $100,000. I'm like, oh, I'm going to open a dispensary. I would have been one of those idiots that jumped into it without really understanding what I was getting myself into. I think there's a lot of people that just make a lot of bad decisions. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't really there for the right reasons. I think if you're in it to make money, you're not in it for the right reasons.
Right.
If you're in it because you care about it and then you're successful because of that, that is the right way to operate. I think there's just too many people that don't know what they're doing, and there's too many hoops to jump through, and it's created a really unstable situation in terms of markets. And Massachusetts is honestly one of the most stable in the country.
Interesting.
And one of the most balanced. Compared to a lot of other places. And I've been to other markets and I've tried their flower, and a lot of the regulated flower, like Colorado, has been open legal for a long time.
Right, like almost
never
like a
been
decade
more
now.
disappointed in weed that I've had on the road at a dispensary.
Interesting.
I keep hearing that.
Because I heard like I've heard it's like, oh, it's Colorado, you know, weed's legal there, it's a weed safe haven. But now like you tell me that, it's like, oh, that's interesting.
Well, even Callie, my roommate, was in California all last week for a wedding, and you know, we smoke a lot of fucking weed and shit. And I'm like, talk to me, like, how's the pot? You know what I mean? How's the K? He's like, oh, it's nothing to fucking write home about.
Nope.
He's like, it's just weed.
Cali weed was fine. My experience with it was overpriced as fuck. Like, it was good, but it was what I was getting for that price. I was like,
that's probably like my biggest thing with that.
I think the first time I met, though, I didn't do good research. I was in LA. I didn't do great research on where. I wasn't working in the industry at that time. I didn't do good research on where I should go, and I ended up at MedMen, which is like the most corporate-y, expensive, trendy, super trendy. Yeah. I remember they had sweatshirts in there, and I was like, "Oh, that sweatshirt's sick! Like, how much is that?" And they're like $120, and it was just like a gray sweatshirt that just said MedMen on it. I was like, literally, eat like a giant bag of dicks, my dude.
Yeah, fuck all
definitely
that noise.
not happening.
Yeah, because I remember I was walking to Fenway to get weed, and someone said MedMen, but I'm like, I don't trust that name. You know, it's a little off-putting to me. It's like I ended up going a New Deal, obviously, but I'm like, I don't trust that name. Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
Corporate Kush is not the way.
Right.
That being said, MedMen, if you want to sponsor it, no.
We will work with other people.
Yeah.
Around here, Maine is, in my opinion, the best example of. It's a much smaller market than Massachusetts because Maine doesn't have nearly the financial backing that Massachusetts is a big money state.
Right. I mean,
there's
it seems like
a lot
we're
of
breaking
players in here. Yeah.
Like records every single year.
Yeah,
like it goes up like almost like a billion every year.
Well, it's not I wouldn't say we're in a good space in terms of just in general. I think Mass is better than a lot of other places. And then if I had to pick an example of a place that I think it's doing it better than us, though it's smaller, I'd say Maine. Their product is phenomenal. They've done a really good job of keeping corporate entities to a minimum.
It almost doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I spend every weekend in Maine. My girlfriend's from there, and fucking, I'm going to backwater fucking, you know what I mean? You're going into some random dirt road. It's a shack, and you're buying the best kush you ever had.
Like a farmer's market, which is like the way that it should be.
Straight up, it's so good,
Yeah.
so clean, so cheap, and the people grow weed because they like weed.
I feel like in Mass, it's a lot of selling you on the aesthetic of the shop.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Which is, right, it's cool, but it's like, I'm just trying to get high.
Bro, I just want to smoke some fucking kush.
Right, you know what I mean? I don't need like the Apple Store experience where you walk me through like how this was growing. It's like, bro, like,
and
can I just
to a certain
like,
extent,
it's cool I can get a
like
massage
that stuff.
here, but like,
Right,
I just need some weed. Like,
I don't need you to pull my cards.
To a certain extent, I like that stuff, and I think there's a lot of value. I mean, I'm a big branding guy. I'm a big marketing guy. Like, I like a product that has good packaging, good branding. It's not just, it's like I grew some weed and then I put weed leaves on the package and then I called it Ford 20 Weed Joint and that's my brand name. Like if you have a brand like that, I want you to know that your shit sucks and I don't like you.
Stamped.
I don't care how good your weed is. You need good branding. It's important. But at the same time, there is so much oversaturated only branding product in the state. I'm not against white labeling. White labeling is the act of taking your branding and putting it on someone else's flower that they grew. Often they're growing a specific thing for you, and then you're putting your idea behind it. I have no problem with that. I think it's actually a good thing. But
a lot of that.
I think there's just a lot of mediocre shit and a lot of misinformation and bad education. I think most of the marketing materials you see advertising the qualities of a lot of these products are kind of horseshit and filled with a lot of lies, and there's no proper regulation and research put behind this because the government is not willing to put up money to do these things. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like health supplements. I mean, think about how many health supplements there are out in the world that say they do one thing and 10 years later we find out, oh, it actually gives you cancer. Sorry.
Fucking
you know what I mean?
Oil salesman type shit.
Exactly. So there's a lot of bullshit. You have to be careful. I've gotten swept up in it. I've worked for companies that participated in that. I'm not going to name names, but you can put two and two together if you know who I am.
No.
There's a lot of shit out there. So the more we can get it to feel like the farmer's market, like you shake the hand of the guy that grew it, the better that is. And those are the brands that I like to purchase from. I'm a big brand loyalist guy, and I stick to the brands that I know grow good shit.
Well, that's good to know because now that's what I'm going to suggest to my pothead friends.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
Less middleman.
Yeah,
less
less
middlemen, less
always,
middlemen, less
always.
middlemen.
So
I
I'm
think
gonna
this
move
had some good
on.
weed.
Yeah, sorry, weed.
From weed, but I'm gonna move on to Ramon because I need to ask.
Wait, what did I do? No.
No, well, I need to ask. You
He's
know,
like,
yeah. Why are you considered White Boy of the Year?
Oh, several reasons off the bat. I put in mad work, just like as a white man. Like I feel like me personally, like I feel like there's nobody that did more work as a white man more than I did.
Yo,
Like especially in the city of Boston, to be honest. Like because Boston's not really known for having white people at all.
Yo,
So
say
like,
that.
yeah, say that. Yeah, in fact, I say that on this podcast.
Say
Yeah.
that.
So like for real, like this is me for real. Like I'm the only white dude I could think of in the city. To be honest, I can't think of no one.
Yep.
No one besides me.
Yo,
really?
dead dogs. You so right, bro.
Yeah, I'm like the only one. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I decided. It's automatically it just goes to me every year.
Love it. Yeah, it's like no one else. I'm gonna nominate Ramon every year from now until the end of time. White Boy of the Year.
White boy.
I mean, that's the way it should be.
I heard
that's
the
way it should be.
BMAs
when you
is
look at
actually
me,
making a new category.
You think white boy
right?
of the
Yeah.
year?
No, we're gonna make the BMAs have a category,
Yeah,
and
new
it's
category.
just gonna be White Boy of the Year. When you win it 5 more times, the award's gonna be named after you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's gonna
that's
be me, and then like maybe like Wayne Brady, and it's me every time.
I mean, low-key Bieber's kind of been...
Yeah, Bieber's been
Bieber's-
running it for a
Bieber's
while,
kind of
but
ran
actually
out
no, he's more not. We took him. I mean, they took him.
Yeah, they,
Yeah, no, they
Let me
got
clarify.
Him. They got, it's like,
They got him.
It's like,
They
what
got
do you
him.
mean they got him?
Yeah.
Got him.
You seen Bieber lately?
Yeah.
No, they
Yeah.
definitely got him.
They
Yeah,
got
no,
him.
so it's me
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
just Ramon.
Quick
You
side
see the
note.
hat? Nigga? Come on.
Bieber and Baby Tron, if you guys know Baby Tron,
course.
dude, they're
Oh,
like,
Baby Tron,
dude,
yeah.
they're tight, which is just
Really?
a wild like.
I didn't
fucking-
know they were
yeah,
tight,
bro,
but
they're
that makes
like
sense
this,
right now.
bro.
Wow.
So super chill. You know, maybe because he's going for White Boy of the Year and you are
Right.
White Boy of the Year and Baby Tron is.
Yeah, I don't know what Baby Tron is.
Is he mixed?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I think we need to whisper.
Baby Tron is dope though. I fuck with
yeah,
Baby
I
Tron.
fuck with Baby Tron.
Baby Tron, yeah, it's dope. Wherever he is.
But also, Ramon, I gotta ask you about your love for Puerto Rico and your upcoming documentary.
How the fuck?
I dig deep. You know what I'm saying? I had to get some notes.
All right,
I have to get some
Nardwar.
notes.
Okay,
Right,
hold on.
exactly.
Oh shit.
Nah, well, off the bat, I already put in the Puerto Rico jersey.
Que lo que?
Que lo que?
Yeah.
No, I was actually born on that island, like, a long time ago. And, like, up until like 2 years ago, I haven't been back since. So, like, the first time I went back, I realized, like, my love for this island. Because it's just, the people there are creative as hell. And it's like a good mixture between, like my favorite part of, like, my culture, like, growing up. Because, like, I grew up in a Spanish household. So it's just, like, you get the mixture of Spanish and English. And you get, like, a little bit of the Americanized stuff. But, like, it's just... all the Puerto Rican people kind of like shitting on the Americanized parts because it's just like, yeah, no, we love Puerto Rico. Like,
No, right.
like,
Yeah.
I love that the fact that that island's so prideful and they're always on the right side of history and they always just been like you go down there, you see like free Palestine, like free,
Yeah,
like
cool.
they've always been on the right side
Right.
of history. Like it's just an
I love
island
that.
that like
I want to get down there. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah, every part of it's beautiful.
right.
And
That's
like,
what everybody says. It's like you can't go wrong with one part of Puerto Rico.
And also
I
the
don't
west
like
side is black as hell. So
Shit.
like no, actually no jokes. Like it's actually like people look like me over there. So it's like it's just all parts of me.
because I'm
in
not
an
a
island.
big like I go someplace and I do the tourist thing. I already I serve tourists all day. I don't want to do what they do.
Yeah.
They annoy me. I don't want to be the annoying guy in Puerto
Exactly,
Rico
yeah.
doing the tourist shit. Because
Being- showing up white in Puerto Rico, you're already doing that off rip. So
right, yeah, pretty much. You know, I'm already
off to a terrible
I
fucking
don't see
start.
it anyways. I
Specifically
burn, so
white in
it's
San
like-
Juan. Yeah, it's
Right,
just-
so it's like, you know what I
White in
mean?
California.
I'm already there, but it's like I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm not going to no rainforest zip line type thing. I ain't
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
no food tour. Like, I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna
Also-
drink and eat.
Even though definitely go to the rainforest. The forest is beautiful.
But just
Yeah,
skip the
forest is
zip line.
yeah, just
Yeah,
don't do the
just
zip
don't
line.
do the zip line.
Go
I
to
don't
the
even think they have
rainforest where no natives have to like escort you around.
Yeah, no.
Any
Yeah.
activities you do, if someone who makes like pennies on the dollar has to help you doing it, you're
Yeah.
doing the wrong thing in a foreign country.
Yeah.
See, I've been telling people that.
Yeah.
Been
Off the
telling
bat.
people that. Right.
On G's.
So what about this documentary?
Yeah, it's just more shining a light to what Puerto Rico is like as an island. Because I feel like people have this like weird conception of it where I remember going down there last time and realizing that like people have like one like viewpoint of what a Puerto Rican person is, right? And like it was me talking to this grandma down there like while shooting like clips for the doc where she was like, "Yo, I'm glad you're getting like representation of like all of us, like all skin tones, like all types of shit," which that inspired me to like go around the island now and just be like, because there was a whole second half of this documentary where I was initially gonna go to Newfoundland also and like kind of compare the two, but then I was like, nah, cut that.
Yeah.
We going around Puerto Rico now. We going
Right. I love that.
because we went to the center of the island and that really pushed me like to keep it pushing.
You know what I mean? Because one of my inspirations in life, or just one of the guys I've like studied is Anthony Bourdain. So I really like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that really.
I was in Italy when he passed, so it's like, wow, I'm actually doing the shit he loves, like while he's fucking dead. Like, you know, not to make it like weird, but it's like, you know, and I've just studied. I even have a tattoo where it says "Traveler, not tourist." So it's like, I just think when I talk to somebody who's doing what you're doing, it really opens the eyes of the world. And that's what his whole thing was, like, you know. Have a beer with a guy that made to think differently and look differently than you, because you're gonna learn a whole lot more than you will from someone who's on the internet.
No, for real, right? Because that was one of my favorite moments in Puerto Rico. Was like me and my boy Justin, who I'm shooting the doc with. Which Justin also an amazing cinematographer as well. That dude is fine. We shot the Gunpowder video together.
Would not have been possible without him.
Yeah, exactly.
On many levels.
I mean, I did the storyboard. Don't get it.
Fuck Ramon. Shout out Justin.
Yeah, just fucking.
And Mr. Scarfo was not only an extra.
Who's that?
No, he also
multiple extras.
Right.
And
yes, shout out Mike.
It was also sort of the assistant.
No, Mike actually helped out a lot. Actually,
Mike did all the things that we didn't want to do or focus on. So shout out him.
No, he also
and he executed it beautifully.
What a guy.
Also,
I mean, seriously, bro.
No, also all jokes aside, for that
segment.
Gunpowder video, like Mike actually made sure like we actually got shit.
Yeah.
Because me and Justin have a tendency of forgetting stuff, and Mike was there. Like I love the fact that Mike was there to be like, "What about this?" And we're like, "Oh right, yeah." Because
on another level to that, when he's not doing it, that becomes my automatic role, and his value so often is allowing me to be a human being. Just so rare for me.
I fucking love it. So, lastly, Ramon, what I want to ask you is about your diss track to the internet trolls.
Oh yeah, no. Fun fact about me: I'll respond to anybody. Nigga, the fuck?
Get at him.
But off the bat, there was a dude that like randomly dissed us. Well, I guess dissed Chace initially, and then started dissing the rest of us.
Yeah.
I got under his skin a little bit on the internet.
Chase did get over his skin a little bit.
Typically
I've been
gets
getting a
under
little
people's skin
moody
on the
sometimes, and I just kind of like revert to like 17, 16-year-old like internet troll me.
Yeah, I hear you on
It's
that.
gonna get me shot.
I just get a little
It's gonna
too
get me to
personal.
release diss tracks.
I think I got a little too personal with this individual and got under their skin and really set them off, and they kind of like exploded on our entire page. And then I got sort of talked to a little bit by Mike and Ramon as well.
Yeah, which ironically that is mad funny.
Which then he folled up by writing a diss track.
Because I was like,
I love that. It's like Chase gets to talk to Ramon's in the corner. Like,
no, because my thing is like, hey man, like maybe responding on the internet like that wasn't really worth it. But like if the dude did mention like, oh, none of you guys can rap for real, and that's what set me off.
oh yeah, no.
So off the bat, I was like, nah, yeah.
That's just not.
So while like I was
that's not
talking to
gonna end
Chase, I was like,
watch this.
now watch this, watch this.
No, that's something like, listen, because I argue fucking wrestling all day online, and I've been blocked. I currently am blocked by a lot of top journalists. They don't even call themselves the best thing about them is like they're like, oh, we have these sources, we write these articles, we do this, but we're not journalists. I went to school for communication. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If you don't want the stain of being a journalist, then don't fucking do it. Like, exactly. Like, but yeah, I am blocked by a lot of shout out to Fightful.
Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Shout out to Fightful. From them on this, so I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. No judgment from here. We all got to handle business some way or
I'm
another.
banned off Reddit right now, so
but like one of my favorites.
That's another level. Okay.
That's crazy. Off of a whole Reddit is crazy.
permanent ban.
Yeah.
Damn.
IP ban.
IV bound.
The
IP
fuck
ban.
did you do?
Don't tell people to KYS themselves.
That would do it.
yeah.
For doing bad things. I'm not just out there trolling,
No,
you know
right,
what I mean?
exactly,
I'm not just
yeah.
like smoking backwoods in my bed telling people to do that, but
Right.
like,
Just like, yo, fucking.
yeah, basically, I mean, when the situation calls for
Right,
it,
exactly, of
potato,
course.
potato.
No, but one of my favorite things to do is make diss tracks though. Like me and my cousins like actually grew up doing that shit to each other.
Yeah.
So like it's rare that like because I think today, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's like everybody's a lot more friendly and nobody's actually willing to like go out there and stuff like that. So it's always fun, especially me because I'm apparently like a nice, pleasant dude when you meet me. So
yeah,
like barely
I would say
anybody
Razor
like.
is the sweetest.
I
dude.
would say absolutely.
So
Are you
it's,
kidding me?
yeah, no. So the problem is that because of that, nobody wants to write a diss track on me. So it's like
Right,
there's
yeah.
nothing to
It's
respond
challenging.
to.
Run to
Yeah.
people,
Challenging.
diss me right now. I gotta write.
Like, what are they
It's
going
like,
to say?
wait,
Yo,
He's an approachable dude.
Right,
Fuck
yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, no, that's the problem.
yeah, I want people to find. I want people to think I'm a dickhead. Fucking, I want to diss them back. Fuck you.
That being said, there's been like specific moments where I was like, yo, like any little inkling, like I would just be like, nah, man,
No,
fucking
right,
go
yeah,
for it.
yeah,
like,
let's go.
He's
Yeah.
a pit bull, but he's hungry.
Yeah.
Like, there
Someone just says you stink on freaking one comment. You're like, here's a diss track.
Yeah.
Boom. You just send him the link.
Actually, you know what my favorite one, besides the dead jazz musician that I dissed, because I have several diss tracks on random people. There was a guy named Young Titty Killer back when I was Young Titty. And
Forgot about this.
yeah, no, this dude, he just made a song saying like, yo, something along the lines, like, it definitely was not dissing me, but he just said something about like, yo, Young Titty, I'm Young Titty Killer or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's all he said. And I was like, oh, word?
Oh, word? Yeah.
And
word.
fucking, roasted him.
It's on.
And that dude responded
Ops.
back like later on, like, yo, I did not diss you. That was fire. I didn't diss you. No, I'm just letting you know. Like, I'm a college student. I didn't really, like, this is not really my thing. Like,
That was funny because I remember you found him on SoundCloud. I think when we were at work together, and that whole kind of thing. I think I kind of transpired in like 24 hours.
yeah, no, actually, it was fast. Yeah, because I think I
love it.
sent them a message saying like, oh wait, that was it. I sent them a message saying like, yo, do you want to collab because we have the same name? He didn't respond fast enough, so I was like, oh fuck this dude.
Yeah.
That's who it was. You were
Right.
at work when you sent the message, and then you went home and made the diss that night, and then you played it for me at work the next day.
I love
Fucking
it.
psycho.
Crazy turnaround on off.
Seriously.
I mean, seriously. This
Oh no, that's the
whole
other
thing-
thing with diss tracks too. Like, because my favorite thing about like when rappers would dissing each other, the turnaround time would be fast.
Yeah.
Right. Like when Nas and Jay Z were dissing each other, it would be like fucking next day. Damn
Kendrick
near,
and
like-
Drake was one night.
Yeah, for real. Like
That
dog.
scared the shit out. That like kind of scared me a little bit. I'm like, what the fuck?
I didn't even digest the first one.
I was gonna say-
now we're calling him a pedophile.
I had the best
Yeah.
thing. It was like
Holy
Family
shit.
Matters drop. I'm like, all right, Drizzy, you fucking drop. He dropped me
like-
the gram. I went. I was
Like literally 19 minutes
I was
later.
like, what? I was like, what? What? I was like, what do you mean?
I love shit like that
Yeah.
though. It's just like, yeah, you think like, oh man, he dropped it pretty good. Like, yo, it's like a 10-minute long diss track. He's like kind of coming at the whole industry. Like, how is Kendrick going to respond? Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it
No.
is.
Oh, there it is.
Wait,
Oh,
wait,
go. Oh, my
wait,
fault.
wait, what? Hold on.
What just happened?
Time out.
Yo.
Yeah.
Like
Hold
that
on.
shit is fun. Yeah.
All right, but before we get out of here, I'm gonna ask y'all one last question. I'm grateful y'all could come on the show because I had to ask your manager, if it was okay. He kind of put me through like the ringer about it. He's like, I don't know, they're kind of popping right now. He's like this, that, and the other thing. It's like so.
Oh my.
And we all know him. We all love him. It's Mike Scarfo, obviously.
Yeah.
So how did just the I don't want to say pick, but how did it was like, all right, I want this guy to manage Mindflex.
It was
How did that-
so natural. I want to
Facts.
say that he started doing the job before I ever asked him to do it.
He was doing the job.
No,
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean,
That
it was just his. Mike and I have a very specific thing in common that we think the same way about music in this thing, and it was an immediate click with that. And just because obviously I have that same thing with these two,
Yeah.
it was just like it became this perfect machine. But Mike and I met through the project that he's been working on over the last and slowly
Right.
releasing, and I participated in a bunch of stuff through that. We became friendly and then became friends, and then it got to the point where I'm kind of was relaunching Mindflex. We've been working on a bunch of music, and this is still when we were a larger collective, and I wanted to do some shows, and I was looking for someone to work with me to kind of make the load a little easier for me so that I could be an artist more and strengthen some of the ideas I have. And Mike was looking to get into doing shows and, needed some opportunities and experience in it. And it was like a perfect setup where it was like, he wanted to do that and I needed help. And we did that one show together at Exit Galleries, and it was like an instant chemistry and a moment of just like, ooh, that was good. Like that,
Nice.
It felt good. It felt really
I was
natural.
there for that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that was the first. Nice.
Yeah, that was the first one we ever did together.
Nice.
And then, just from there, it just kind of grew into this almost like natural friendship of just like, he wasn't my manager then, but it's like we talked every week and we're checking in and we're talking about ideas and stuff we want to do and this, and it was just so natural. And I think it just at one point I was like, do you want to manage me? And we talked about it. we waited a little while until some stuff had settled down with getting this place all kind of up and running and in a smooth space, and then it just naturally kind of fell into place. And it started as him just managing me, and then I'm sort of managing the label. And then as we've done this rebrand, it just kind of switched to like, no, he's our manager, but he's really like the hidden fourth member of the group.
No, actually,
he's not on stage with us, but he is.
Damn near, yeah.
And it's really he is the gas in the engine. Like, we are the car, but like he makes the whole thing work. And like, I have a lot of great ideas. I've always been this way. I had the stuff orchestrating these things. Like, I've always had that skill, but it never turned out the way I wanted it to until he got involved, and he made what was almost an efficient machine actually into something that worked. And I think, his background as a teacher and as a basketball coach, and just, honestly, his
it helps.
Yeah, it was actually perfect.
Dealing with our personalities, because obviously we're all very serious about this, but also we're all kind of idiots and a little goofy, and we smoke a lot of pot, and
we're children.
If you haven't seen the amount of pot we smoked,
it's aggressive.
Extra emphasis on the pot if we didn't say that already.
It's aggressive.
If you weren't aware, we smoke weed.
I'm already thinking about what we're gonna do immediately following this episode.
Smoke weed?
Yeah, we'll probably smoke weed.
Smoke some weed.
But he kind of made the shit work, and he made it fun. I think,
and that's really important of it, because I feel like with a lot of people with their managers, it gets too into the numbers and like the kind of ones and twos and ins and outs where it's like, all right, I'm not really having fun anymore.
Yeah,
and that's kind of what I want to have doing this. I know we harped on it in this episode a couple of minutes back, but like, it's just good to see how you were like, all right, this is what I want out of this guy, and this is what I want out of myself,
right?
And you're able to get that with Mike, because you know what I'm saying. Shout out my Scarfo.
Big shout out.
Shot my cipher. You know what I'm saying? There's the ones and twos for every one of my episodes. You know what I mean? Yeah. 1/3 of AOA Studios, host of Turntable Teachers. What else can he do?
Shot by fucking Scarfo.
He can get married soon.
Right, which he is.
Yeah,
he is. This August.
Marriage dropping this August.
Marriage dropping.
I gave him an engagement.
The marriage EP.
Big marriage dropping this August.
He's dropping the sickest edit of the year.
Newest Scarfo dropping soon.
New Scarfo.
You better not. That's a big fucking distraction. Fuck off with that.
You already have kids.
You
have 3 triplets, dude. Yeah. You have triplets right now.
I was gonna say, Mike should have dropped the "I'm having triplets."
That was his album, to be honest.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's actually his album.
I might make him a custom T-shirt that's just pictures of us that say "My triplets" on it.
Exactly. Right, of course.
Everyone always wonders who's the mom of the triplets.
Yeah.
He's the LeVar Ball to the Ball brothers.
No, actually,
it's like
still got both legs, still kicking, man.
Right, exactly. No, that's the important thing, though. Right, exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. Right, exactly.
Still kicking.
But, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mind Flex. Gentlemen, if you could right now, the camera, please tell the good audience, the good people who say that, where they can find you on all socials and anything like that.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, let's go.
First.
We're going down
the line. Yeah, you can find me at Rayon Cuz, Rayon _Cuz, RAYON_CUZ. And you can also just find me outside.
Right.
That's facts. You can find me at Instagram.com/CHACE. Okay, I spell it with a C. Period.
I feel like you get that problem a lot. Not to cut
Look,
you off, but I feel like that's a big problem.
I'm okay with the S. I'll let it go.
All right.
If you call me Chance, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking throat.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Call me Chance, bro.
That's crazy.
First of all, I'm dyslexic, and even I'm not fucking up that bad.
Right.
Yeah, and you can also find us at Instagram.com/MindFlexRecords. And
Francois Octave, you can find me on Instagram at IDK Octave. It used to be Fuck Octave, but Instagram. So IDKOCTAVE. And on Facebook as Nick Duff Francis, if you want to get personal.
YouTube, MindFlex TV, look us up.
Right. Go watch the Gunpowder video out now. And go stream We're Having Triplets, the EP. Do it now. I'm watching y'all. But before we give official kisses, you can thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Say That Podcast. This was fucking awesome. Gentlemen, I loved it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate you
for having us.
If you enjoyed this episode, which I'm sure you did, leave a like and comment under the video and hit that subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button. I want y'all to do it.
Smash it.
I want you to punch it.
Smash it, chat. Smash it.
Watch the
Right.
100th episode. That should
Right, exactly. Watch
special.
Watch the cipher. Watch the 100th episode. Watch
Yeah.
100
Yeah.
episode
Big
101.
100.
Watch episode 102, which is this episode. Watch them all. I got a bingeable podcast. I know you like to binge shit. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, like I said, the start of the episode is REPETE617. It's my personal, and say_that_pod is the podcast page. I understand there's a lot of underscores. I'm trying.
Say that.
Trying. Right, exactly.
Don't say that.
But, and you kind of almost cut me off there, but, and y'all know how I end these episodes. Y'all know the motto. Y'all know the drill. Don't say this, say that. And we'll see y'all in the next episode.
Mwah.
Peace.
Mwah.
Mwah,
XO.
mwah, mwah.
XO.
Ciao
Hugs and
bella,
kisses.
vincerà!